Okay, now moving on to the eyes. I'm going to assess Ethan's visual fields by the computation test to test cranial nerve 2. This test screens for peripheral vision loss. I'm going to begin by positioning myself eye level with him at about 2 feet away. He's going to cover one eye with this envelope, and I'm going to cover my eye opposite of his. I will hold a wiggling finger as a target midline between him and I and slowly advance it in front of the peripheral in several different directions. There you go. Cover which eye you want first. Okay, I want you to tell me now when you see my finger, okay?
Okay. No.
Good.
No.
Good.
No.
Good.
No.
Good. Now cover your other eye. Okay, same thing. Tell me now when you see it, okay?
No.
Good.
No.
Good.
No. No.
Okay, good. So abnormal results include him not being able to see the object that I do. This abnormality suggests peripheral field loss. In older adults, this screens for glaucoma. So now I'm going to assess his extraocular muscles by assessing the corneal light reflex and performing the 6 cardinal positions of gaze to test cranial nerves 3, 4, and 6. Going to assess the parallel alignment of the eye axis by shining a light towards his eyes. Okay. Okay. Alright, you can stand straight ahead of me, or straight ahead. I will hold the light about 12 inches away. Note the light reflection. Note the reflection of the light on each eye. It should be in the exact same spot. Asymmetry of the light reflex could be an indication of deviation in the alignment of eye muscle from weakness or paralysis. You stand straight ahead for me. Okay, good. And it was in the exact spot in each eye. Now we're going to do the 6 cardinal positions of gaze test, which test eye muscle weakness if any is present. Okay, you can hold your head steady. I will hold my head. I will hold my finger about 12 inches away and move it to each of the positions. Hold it there and then return it back to center. If nystagmus is present anywhere else other than in an extreme lateral gaze, further testing is required. Oh, you're supposed to follow my finger.
Okay.
Okay, good. There was no nystagmus present. I also do not see a white rim on his sclera between the lid and the iris, meaning there is no lid lag. Lid lag would be indicative of hyperthyroidisms. Now I'm going to assess his external eye structures, which include the eyelids, eyelashes, and skin. His eyelids. Okay, his eyelids overlap the superior part of the iris and approximate completely over the lower lids when closed. His eyelashes are intact and curl outward and distributed evenly. There's no lid lag, signs of incomplete close or use, ptosis, periorbital edema, or lesions. There's no ectropion or endotropion. The skin is intact without redness, swelling, discharge, or lesions. Next, I will assess his conjunctiva, scleras, both irises, and corneas bilaterally. I'm going to have Ethan look up, and while he looks up, I'm going to place my thumbs underneath his eyelids and slide the lower lids down to the bony orbital. You don't tilt your head up, just look up. Okay, good. His eyeballs are glossy and moist, the conjunctiva are clear and spins over the lower lids and the whites over the sclera. There's no color change, swelling, or lesions present. Was it tender?
No.
There's no tender present, no foreign body present, and no discharge. Jaundice will present as a yellowing of the sclera that extends up to the cornea, or also called sclera icterus. To check the cornea for smoothness and clarity, I will shine a light from the side across the cornea. Good, it was smooth on that eye. Turn this way. Good, and it was smooth on that eye. The cornea was smooth and clear. There's no cloudiness in the cornea anterior chamber or lens. The iris was flat, round, regular in shape, and even in coloration. So next I will test his pupils. I will do this by using a pen light and darken the room. Okay, stare straight ahead for me. Good. Okay, as I was assessing his pupils, I saw constriction of the same sided pupil and simultaneous constriction of the other pupil. So now I'm going to test accommodation. I'll have Ethan focus on my finger as I'm assessing for pupillary constriction and convergence of the eyes. Okay, look straight at my finger and follow it. Okay, good. His pupils are perla, or also known as pupils, are equal, round, reactive to light, and accommodation. So now I'm going to assess his ocular function, including, or the ocular fundus, including the red reflex, optic disc, vessels, and retinal background. Stare ahead. Okay, good. Okay, there were no opaque areas noted, which could be an indicator of cataracts. I was able to see the optic disc, the retinal vessels, the retinal background, and the macula. The optic disc was a creamy yellow and round. The margins were distinct and sharply demarcated. The physiological cup was a brighter yellow than the rest of the disc, meaning no abnormalities were present. There are no vein and artery crossing in the retinal vessels, and pulsations were present. The general background was light red with no signs of lesions.